Hey guys, Ike here from Mike'sOutdoors.com. I'm here today to give you a quick rundown of the bows that we shot at the ATA. Just try to give you a little bit more of an in-depth look at them and a little bit more than what we did in the videos. These are in no particular order. Pretty much the way I shot them, wrote them down. So it's not, I'm not listing best to worst or anything like that. Just the way I happen to shoot them. The first bow that we want to talk about is the BowTech Carbon Overdrive. Overdrive, not Overdrive. Really, this is an updated version of the Carbon Night that they came out with earlier this year. It's got the Overdrive binary cam system on it. It's got the FLX on it. Really, basically, it's a carbon destroyer. The Carbon Destroyer, or the Carbon Night and the Destroyer, mash them together, and this is the bow that you come out with. Really good feel to it. The Overdrive cam, really tunable, one of my favorite cams, really easy to mess with, really easy to work with, and really easy to get a good performance out of it. Draw cycle on this bow feels really good. We're going to link a video right down here so you can go right to the BowTech video and watch me shoot both of these bows that we're going to talk about. But the draw cycle on this bow was outstanding, really good, just whisper quiet too, just really quiet, and shot was putting out pretty good speeds. The bow I shot, I believe, was a 60 pounder, which is what I shoot most of the time for hunting, and just had a really good feel to it. The other bow that I shot there was the RPM 360, and I'm going to tell you right off the bat, for a bow that's rated for 360 feet per second, this bow had a really good draw cycle to it. There's several other bows that I shot who are in the same category as this bow, 6-inch brace height, speed bow, 350 or plus. On feet per second rating, IBO rating, and this one had the smoothest draw cycle of all of them. Really good shooter, absolutely quiet as can be. Some of the new upgrades to the sound dampeners on it and things like that. A little bit different look to the riser. Got a good cutouts on it and good bridge support on there. Really good bow. Draw cycle, you know, for a 360 feet per second bow, 6-inch brace height bow is pretty dang good. I mean, it really felt good, and was shooting really hard, really shooting fast. The other bow that I didn't shoot on video was the Carbon Cure. That's the diamond bow that they come out with this year. So we've got a nice carbon bow with a solo cam, good looking riser on it. Basically looks like a Carbon Night or the Carbon Overdrive with a solo cam on it. Pretty nice looking bow. Pretty good. I didn't actually get to shoot the bow, just completely slipped my mind to go back and shoot it, but pretty good looking bow, and a pretty good looking cam on it, and pretty good overall feel to the bow. The next thing I'll talk to you about is Hoyt. We shot the Spider, shot the Charger, and shot the Factor 30. Spider, pretty nice bow. All these bows had a really good draw cycle to them, I'll be honest with you. Hoyt's came in half, just really good shooter, and the Spider was pretty good bow. Good draw cycle to it, nice and quiet, just a really good feel to the bow overall. The Factor 30, which we're going to link another link, put another link right here so you guys can go over and check this video out. But the Factor 30 was a real good bow and a real good shooter, but it seemed to have some noise to it. And you guys know from shooting that the shooter's going to pick up a lot more noise than the person watching. And before I made the video, or my thoughts on the bows, I asked Lindsay if she noticed the noise, and she said yes, and I asked her which bow did she notice the noise on, and she said the Factor. So we both agreed that the Factor was a little bit loud, and it just had just a little bit of an elevated sound to it, but overall it felt alright and shot alright, just kind of had a weird sound to it. The best one of the three, I still think, is the Charger. This is their economy bow, you know, their $500 range bow, you know, in that area there somewhere. Good feel to the bow, good, I mean, nice, quiet, just overall. If I was going to go down and I had $2,000 in my pocket today to buy it, and I had my mind set on I was going to buy a Hoyt, it'd be the Charger. I mean, it really has a good feel to it, and just really is one of the best entry-level, mid-priced, whatever you want to call them, bows on the market today. Next up bows we're going to talk about is the Bear. We shot the Agenda. We shot the 6-inch brace height version of it. Draw cycle's pretty good. I mean, for a 6-inch brace height bow, pretty good. Didn't have a real big hump to it or anything like that. Bow was shooting really fast, pretty quiet. No big hump in the draw cycle or anything like that. Really felt good overall. Just a really nice offering from Bear. Pretty good upgrade for the versus the one they brought out last year. And you know, I really like that bow, and I think I'm really going to like the Agenda. It's got some upgrade design on it, got some dampeners built into it, and just a really nice shooting bow. So I think it's going to be a really good offering from Bear. The Anarchy HC. This is a 35-inch axle-to-axle bow, similar to the Agenda and the Motive from last year in design and the cam system. But 35-inch axle-to-axle, really good solid shooting platform, and just really the bow felt really, really good. I really enjoyed shooting that bow, and it's one of the bows I'd really like to own in the future, just because it's going to be a good do-it-all bow. Next thing we shot was the Venue, which is the solo cam bow. Good smooth shooting bow, you know, as far as solo cam goes. Of course, it's not going to be up there with the Agenda speed goes, but still putting out plenty of speed as far as the solo cam. Good, nice feel to it. Good shooter if you're a guy who likes a solo cam bow. This is definitely one to look into. The other two we shot were the Rumor and the Finesse. The Finesse is kind of their entry level ladies bow. If you're just getting started, your wife just wants to start, you know, and you're not sure if she's going to like it yet, the Finesse is a good way to start, and it's a pretty nice little bow for the money. The step up from that for your wife or girlfriend or whoever, you know, the female shooter in your family, is the Rumor. It's a little bit higher price, but it's a little bit better quality bow too. And overall, it's a pretty nice little bow. That Rumor is definitely, for someone like my wife who's shot quite a bit, that Rumor would make an excellent bow. And it'd be an excellent bow for a starter too, but you know, the price point's a little bit higher than the Finesse. For me, if my wife was just starting, I'd probably go with the Finesse and then work her into a Rumor, you know. But definitely both of them are good bows. So definitely good ones to look at for the lady in your life, or the smaller statured shooter that you know. Next up is Oneida. We shot the Kestrel and the Osprey, and the Oneida bows, I tell you guys, they're kind of unusual looking. They're a lever limb bow, which means the cam actually sits on the riser and the limbs pivot in the middle. They come back, they engage the cam, and when they go forward, everything comes down. If you haven't shot an Oneida in a while, definitely get your hands on one, because these are the ones that I've all shot have been 25 years old, you know, at least 15 years old. And these new Oneidas they're lighter, they're quieter, and they're just better shooting bows. They've still got that same great feel to them. Draw cycle, you cannot beat the draw cycle on an Oneida. They just absolutely feel great and are really cool looking bows, really unusual looking design, but absolutely awesome. Fun to shoot, just absolutely great little bows. And they fixed the complaints that we all had about them being loud and about them being heavy. They fixed those, and the Kestrel and the Osprey's their, I believe, is their fishing bow. You know, these are fantastic bows and definitely worth a look. If you haven't looked at Oneida in a while and you were a fan back in the day, check these new ones out, because they are definitely upgraded version of the Oneida. Next is the Obsession. Shot the Phoenix and the Evolution. The new riser design on these things is awesome. It really widened out the riser and give it a little bit more of a sound dampening, vibration dampening ability, and really the new cam, the new design. You know, I really didn't think. I've got my Nightmare sitting right here. This is the bow that I'm still shooting right now. Actually getting ready to shoot it as soon as I'm done doing this video. And the new Obsessions, this is one of my favorite bows from last year, and the new Obsessions are a step up from that. I really do believe that. The Phoenix, you know, is their 7-inch brace height bow, and still putting out good speeds and really getting just a nice, good bow to shoot overall. The Evolution is their 6-inch brace height bow. Draw cycle on it's really good, feels really good, and you're not going to find hardly a quieter, better shooting bow than one of these Obsessions. And I know for sure you're not going to find a better looking bow, because you can watch the video, which we're going to link right here. And I guarantee you, these are some of the coolest looking bows. They've got a new camo on them. And these are some of the coolest looking bows that we saw at the show. They are a lot of different color combinations available, and just absolutely cool looking. Just really nice looking bow. And the function matches the look. I mean, they perform. They look great, and they perform great as well. So, New Breed. We stopped by the New Breed booth, and they really didn't have anything new to offer this year, but they've kind of changed their design up. They've lightened up their design, kind of a riser change, just basically giving all their bows a facelift. And one of the things I've always complained about is these bow companies that come out with a new bow, and it's really just the bow that they've been selling for a couple years, and they've given it a facelift. You know, they've done different machining on it, but it pretty much really hasn't changed from the bow that they've been selling for the last few years. And New Breed doesn't want to do that, so they gave their bows a facelift, but they haven't changed the name of them. They're still the same names that you've always associated with New Breed. They've just lightened them up and offered some new camo patterns. So they got a little bit lighter weight feel to them, a little bit better looks to them. Still got the same names and the same quality that you've always experienced from New Breed. And I really enjoyed the new camo patterns that they had on there. Looked really cool. I really liked those. Winchester. We shot 2 bows from Winchester. The first one was the Black Horse, and this is kind of their price. I wouldn't say price point bow, but it's their cheaper bow. I'd say, you know, it's the $500, $600 bow, mid-range bow. And the Black Horse was awesome. Really nice cam system on it. Just really felt good pulling that thing back, and really felt good at full draw. Just an excellent shooting bow. And I really liked the Black Horse. The Blind Side was their top end bow, their flagship bow. It's got some really cool technology on it. It's got a turnbuckle system rather than a traditional limb pocket system on it like these other bows have. And you can really change the poundage really very easily. And the new Winchesters are really good shooters. The Blind Side's got some upgraded technology on it, you know, over the Black Horse, but both of them are really awesome bows. Both of them have a really good feel. I've had some Winchesters in the past. I had the Quicksilver 32 when they first came out. I love that bow. And these are, the Black Horse is for the price range, is an excellent bow. Got a binary cam system on it. Just a really good shooting bow. The Blind Side for upper end, I would put it up against any upper end bow out there, and I think it would compete and hold its own. You know, it's got good technology behind it. It's got a good feel behind it, and just a really good shooting bow. PSC, we shot the Full Throttle there. We shot several bows, but the first bow we shot was the Full Throttle. And then the Full Throttle is the new one with the 370 feet per second IBO rating on it. This has a draw specific cam on it, and overall the bow felt and looked really nice. But the bow they had there at the booth was a 50-pound bow. And I'll tell you this, you knew you were pulling 50 pounds. It was a really stiff 50 pounds, but it was a really fast 50 pounds too. I mean, don't get me wrong, it really felt good. It didn't have a big hump into it, but you knew you were pulling 50 pounds. It's just hard to explain, but I wouldn't say the draw cycle was rough. I wouldn't say the draw cycle was bad, but when you pulled back on it, you kind of knew what you're having. And I hate shooting a 50-pound bow, but that's the only one they had available. They had a 60-pound bow in the booth, but I never got to shoot it. So for a 50-pound bow, it did feel a little heavier than 50 pounds. And, you know, at full draw, kind of wanted to go off. But for a bow that's IBO rated 370 feet per second, I kind of expect that. The overall feel of the bow was good. And if you're a speed freak and you're a guy who wants to go just as fast as humanly possible, this bow's, you know, going to be ideal for you. For me, you know, if I wanted to buy a speed bow, this is definitely the one you can do, because you get a lot of speed out of it. Feel of it overall, like I said, you felt like you were pulling 50. At 50 pounds, I felt like I was pulling 52, 54. It felt a little heavier than what it was. And the back wall, it wanted to go. It really wanted to take off. But overall, the speed was very impressive, and it was pretty quiet and very little vibration in it for the speed it was putting out. The next one was a DNA SP, and the SP stands for Smooth Pull. And I shot a DNA last year, and it was an alright bow. I really liked the way it shot, but I kind of had the same complaints about it that I had the Full Throttle. It was a really aggressive bow, really fast, but the draw cycle on it was pretty stiff. And when you got back at full draw, you were riding the edge. I mean, it really, if you let go on it, boy, it'd jerk on you. So what they've done, with the DNA SP, is they've kind of changed the geometry of the cam a little bit and made it a little bit smoother, smoother pull. And they've done a good job on it. They really did. This new DNA, the draw cycle on it's not real bad, and when you get back to full draw, you can kind of relax a little bit. You know, it's a little bit further away from that edge and doesn't really want to take off on you. So it's a really good upgrade to the DNA. You know, I really like the DNA, but there's a couple things I didn't like about it, and with this smooth pull, they fixed those things I didn't like about it. So very, very nice bow. We also shot the Premonition. Pretty good bow overall, you know. Nice little bow, shoots pretty good. Good feel to it. Nice grip. Just felt really good at full draw. The next one that we shot to was the Drive LT. Drive LT was pretty impressive. I really liked that bow. I don't know what the price point on that bow was, but it was a nice bow. Just really felt good. Draw cycle on it wasn't bad. Shot pretty good. I said draw cycle on it wasn't bad. Draw cycle was pretty good on it. Shot pretty good. Felt pretty good at full draw. Just a pretty nice offering from PSC in a Drive LT. The Strether at Strether booth. The only bow we shot there was the Vital, and it was a pretty nice bow. Good cam system on it, good feel to it, and it just felt like it was hitting hard. And it's hard to explain because it doesn't feel like it's shooting fast, but when it shot, boy, it just really felt like it was shooting hard. But a good draw cycle to it, good feel to the bow, really nice grip on it, really nice fit and finish on the bow. The bow looked fantastic. I really like the new cam system to it, and just a pretty good bow from Strether, which they've always offered pretty good bows, and this Vital, it kind of keeps right along with the bows they've offered in the past. Pretty good speeds, pretty good. I like the technology on it. You know, it's got some really nice technology on it, and just a good shooting bow from Strether this year. The Prime, we shot the Prime alloy, and it's got the cam system on it. That's always been familiar with the parallel cam design. That's been associated with Prime since they started a few years ago, and it's got a good feel to it. No lean to the cam. I mean, that design absolutely eliminates, I would say all the lean, but eliminates a lot. I mean, it takes a lot of lean out of that bow, or out of those cam systems. And the alloy shot really good. They've upgraded the grip on it, and the new grip feels pretty good. Settles into your hand really nice. And when the thing that was most impressive about this bow to me was how well it held at full draw. The bow just really felt good at full draw, and really solid shooting platform. So I was really impressed with that from Prime. The alloy is a pretty good solid shooting bow. Darton, I didn't release a Darton video this year because Darton's bows, they had a really hard time pulling them back. I mean, they were set at 70 plus pounds, and the draw cycle on them wasn't bad, but they had the weight jacked up so high. I had a really hard time getting a feel for the bow, so I really can't comment on the Darton bows because they had the weight so high on them. And so, I mean, it's one of those things. I got to shoot the Darton bows, but I didn't put a video out, and I really can't comment on them here because the bows at the show were way too high a poundage for me, you know. And I shot other bows at the show that were 70 pounds, and they weren't as hard to pull as the Dartons. I mean, they really felt like they were on 74, 75 pounds, and they may not have been, but really not a good sampling of what Darton has to offer, I don't feel. Next one is WinWin. They got a couple different bows that we shot at the booth, and I was really pleasantly surprised with WinWin. Last year was the first time I'd seen them there with a compound bow. They made traditional bows in the past, and I didn't get a chance to shoot one. Just you know, one of those things. There's going to be some bows I just overlook every year, and WinWin was one of them last year. This year I made it a point to go shoot them. They got a carbon bow. They've got a target bow, and I tell you what, the two carbon bows I shot were really impressive bows. Good draw cycle to them. The cam system on them was really nice. Quiet, vibration free, light. I wouldn't say they're the most attractive bow on the market. I mean, the carbon riser on it's got a pretty plain design to it, but as far as shootability, and I wouldn't say they're ugly. They're definitely not ugly bows, but shootability, man, they shot really good. Really impressed with WinWin, and I'm hoping to get an opportunity to get one of them in my hands a little bit later this year. And last but definitely not least is Elite. One of my favorite bows from the show. Probably my favorite bow from the show was the Elite Energy 32. Good, awesome feel to the draw cycle. Same draw cycle that we've all come to expect from Elite. Just a good overall draw cycle to it. When you hit the back wall, you can relax with the thing. It doesn't want to take off. And just a really good feel to the bow when you've got it at full draw. And I tell you what, their new Energy 32 was shooting fast. I mean, the 35 was shooting pretty good too, but that 32 that they had there was shooting hard, shooting really fast, and just good feel to the bow overall. There's not a complaint that I can make about the Elite Energy 32 in the little amount of time that I got to shoot it. Like I said, probably my favorite bow from the show. It was really nice at full draw, and just a good shooting bow and a good feeling bow for me at full draw. So this is my feelings on the bows that I shot with the ATA. Just a quick rundown of them, and you know, all you guys out there that send me emails and ask me about these different bows. We covered a lot of bows here in the last 20 minutes, and I know this stuff can get confusing. My favorite, like I said, I really liked the Elite Energy 32. I like the Obsession bows. I really like the Carbon Overdrive. I mean, I'm like a kid in a candy store when I get there. The only really bad showing at the show was from Darton, and what I like and what you like are going to be two different things. You know, I try to do these reviews as unbiased as possible and just give you the facts about the bow. And, you know, I try to do that too, but I can't really pick your bow for you. I try to give you as much information as I possibly can, and I'll try to help out as much as possible if you can't shoot the bow. But the ultimate thing for you to do is get out and shoot one of these bows. You may shoot every bow that I've talked about today, and you may love the Darton. You may come back and say, hey, that Darton was the best bow that I ever shot, or the WinWin was the best bow that I ever shot. So don't think just because I pick out a bow and that's you know, like the Elite Energy 32 may be a perfect bow for me, but it may not suit you and may not fit your needs, and you may just not like it. You may think I'm an idiot for saying I do love it, or that I do really like it. So definitely, you know, go out and shoot as many bows as you can, but hopefully this will give you a little bit of a start where to look for them. This is kind of a rundown of the show for 2014, and it was a really good show. All you people in Nashville, really one of the best towns I've ever been to. Everyone was just super nice. Southern hospitality is alive and well in Nashville, and we had a really good time. You guys watching these videos, appreciate you watching. For more product reviews, how-to videos, check out our website at ikesoutdoors.com.